just got filled into the short direction. I do believe we end up winning that trade up to 455 on the day now. Just got filled long here. Let's see if we can get a win here. There we go. Ended up winning that trade. We may actually be doing a regression switch here. This is just going to be because at 816 we held that delta divergence, which is going to solidify this level around here. And we're having very, very choppy price action in these past 4 bars, as well as the fact that we have the formation of those two, what's it called, derived zones at those levels. So there we go. We just won another trade. That's going to be our 3rd win of the day. Just got filled long. End up winning that trade up to 1700. Happy Valentine's Day, guys. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Hope that if you have someone special in your life, that you guys are able to share that together. It's certainly a very nice holiday to remember who it's. If you guys are having an issue where it says that Polarity needs to be able to read and write to the directory with the machine learning update, that likely means that you have NinjaTrader installed on your OneDrive account. You cannot use OneDrive for your installation of NinjaTrader if you are deciding to use the machine learning outputs, just because you don't have the capacity to be able to write to that with programs. So unfortunately, you do need to take NinjaTrader out of your OneDrive folder. Also, guys, for the prepackaged model, it is not trained on is not trained on number of trades. We're using the win rate training model, so it's going to be optimizing for win rate rather than number of trades. And if you guys are curious about the questions and answers form, if you're not able to answer or ask questions, you can do so at the link in the description. We have that Google form where you can submit questions. See here, we've broken out of this zone here, and we've had highly correlated delta outside of this breakout. So at that point, we're going to be switching into trend mode and try and get into a long fill. Just got filled long here. End up winning that trade up to 2,600 a day. Just got filled short. Let's see if we can end up doing this one. Unfortunately, that's going to be our first loss of the day, back down to 2,300. Also, guys, just going to move around our chart trader here just to show that this is not an overlay. If we end up having a long bar here with this negative delta, and we close above this green zone, that is definitely a pretty obvious switch into regression. Just said that makes a lot of sense. Would you suggest setting it to 0.85 for win rate? No, I actually suggest trying to optimize for a lower win rate, let's say 0.65, especially if you're using the strategy on the screen. That's what I've optimized it for. And with 0.65 win rate, because the RR is already skewed in the long direction quite a bit, you are actually substantially in the green at that point if you're able to optimize to that amount. 0.85 is a little bit overzealous unless you have changed the ATM strategy to be skewed more so in the long direction, in the short direction. But yes, hope that helps. Also, guys, that's going to be that regression switch we called out. Sorry about that little bit of delay there in between me calling that out and me actually making the change. This individual asks, do I need a VPS server to trade with your system? No, you do not. Although it may be recommended just to squeeze out every little bit of performance you can, I don't suggest doing that until you've actually nailed the system and you are getting the fundamentals mastered. At that point, once you have decided that the system is actually trading the way that you have wanted it to be, then if you are interested in maximizing your amount of alpha, then yes, that's definitely a worthwhile investment, but it's definitely not necessary for a beginner. There we go. Ended up winning that trade, which was in the short direction there, up to 3,100 on the day. This is a pretty obvious long switch here. Going to be keeping it inside of trend mode. See, what's nice is that even though we were late to the switch there, Polarity's kept us out of that trade where we may have gone short inside of a trend mode, a regression mode trade, but we ended up not getting filled at all in any of those balances because we were in the wrong mode. So now that we're in the correct mode, we should be able to take advantage of those kinds of price movements. Ended up just getting filled long there. Hey Smith, if you have an AMD Ryzen 7 and you're struggling with tick replay, just one suggestion I would like to ask is how many days to load do you have loaded? So your days to load is going to heavily affect your performance inside of tick replay because that is a lot of data to have on the chart. I suggest only having 3 days to load to start on tick replay. I usually trade with just 3 days to load enabled. If you have any more than that, you may encounter some issues, regardless of the amount of processing power you have or the RAM you have. If you guys are using the prepackaged model, I do not suggest having override model on unless you want to override the previous model. That it isn't really going to do anything now. Just got filled long here. End up winning that trade up to $4,200 on the day. We're having a pretty stellar trading day here, getting filled into a lot of trades, and we won quite a bit of them. Always nice to see. Hey Connor, just purchased level 3 PolarityATI yesterday. Just wondering what data feed you use. So I use a combination of kinetic, Intraday continuum, and also IQ feed. So that's just so that we have a contingency plan if any of those fail at any given moment. This is definitely overkill, and we also have a filtered system to take the most recent price data and use that regardless of what data feed is the fastest. Going to be switching into regression mode here. We have that divergence at 825, as well as the formation of this sub here. We may need to look out for a short breakout, but in this case, we should be good here. I noticed you only trade on specific days and time. Is there any reason? Are you looking for the most optimal trading condition? Not necessarily. I found that generally in the middle of the week, we have very average volatility. We don't have any huge spikes or sways in either direction in the low or high volatility way. And I just like having consistency as well as trading at the same time. On NQ, I've found is that around 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, we still have a very strong amount of volatility, but we aren't getting whipped out a lot. Also, with NQ, it is important to realize that although NQ is extremely volatile, it ends up having kind of a large spread at market open. So right now is a good time to trade NQ. If you want to trade a different time of day, that's completely fine. End up losing that trade there. But just be aware that you may be getting into some a little bit worse fills, so you may have a little bit more slippage. I don't have necessarily a reason also other than the fact that I don't like getting up early, especially at the stream. If you are on the East Coast, I do suggest trying out bonds at the bond open. So that's going to be at 8:30 Eastern time rather than 9:30. It opens an hour before the regular market open, which is pretty impossible for me to trade. But market open on those bonds is very, very, very consistent with polarity. What I've seen is that I just simply can't really get up at 5:30 in the morning to trade. Of course, I'd have to get up at 5 to trade at 5:30. So it can be a little bit difficult for me to do that. But if you are able to, I highly suggest that. But anyway, I just like this time because of how consistent it is week over week over week. Guys, I'm sorry if the stream is buffering. I'm looking at my OBS over here, and it says we're just under 3,000 kilobytes a second, and it says I have red internet, which is very strange because we are connected to Ethernet. I'm not totally sure exactly why that's happening, but I'll have to look into that after the stream. If you maybe go back a couple of seconds, I think it should work just fine. But let me know if you guys are also experiencing that, not just this guy. This user asked, if you only have one data feed, say Rhythmic, do you think that would adversely affect PolarityATI performance or be able to get better fills? I don't think it would adversely affect that or not. I do believe that, okay, so if you're using Rhythmic, I'm going to assume that you're trading on a prop firm like Apex or Top Step Trader. So with both of those, when you are in the evaluation and past the evaluation stage, when you're actually trading on their funded account, you're only trading a sim account that's located on the Rhythmic servers. So in this case, it doesn't matter if Rhythmic is slow. Regardless, you are going to get filled at whatever Rhythmic tells you the price is at. So it actually doesn't matter what data feed you have. Just got filled short here. What ticker symbol are you trading? They can't find it on TradingView. You know what ticker symbol I should choose for TradingView or to follow your trades? So I think on TradingView, this would be called NQH24. This is the most recent NQ contract. Looks like we just lost that trade back down to 3,400 on the day. But it's going to be NQH24, I believe. Or NQ0324. There we go. Ended up winning that trade back up to 4,700. We're very close to our profit target of 5,000 on the day. See here, entropy is still high. We had that 829 divergence there. Just got filled short here. End up winning that trade. We're actually up to 5,200 on the day there. So that is right above our profit target. I'd say that's a pretty great Valentine's Day gift. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I'm going to answer a couple more questions here before we get off. This user asked, how long did it take you to be profitable? I That's kind of an interesting question to ask the creator of the tool, because it was a kind of a long process to even create the tool. So we had the research to back up what the performance expectations were going to be before we even made it. So a lot of it was manual backtesting to get there. But initially, right